Hello YouTube and hello 9th Age community. This is Charles with Evershade Gaming and I'm bringing you another 9th Age battle report. I just got a game in this last Saturday and we actually tried out the new scenarios because the rules team and all those fancy 9th Age staff released a 2.0 preview, and honestly I thought the new scenarios, new objectives were very cool, so I wanted to put them to the test. So we played Marching Column. This was like, at first, I feel like it took me like 5 minutes to read through it and be like, okay, I get it finally. So basically what happens is still 12-inch deployment, 12 inches up all the way across. You just pick one of your short sides of the boards. So either a left side or your right side. And you basically deploy one unit there, and then you just have to keep deploying to the other side of the board. It's interesting. I'm trying to think how it simulates a marching column. Maybe that they're all like in one line together, which is kind of cool. Yeah, so you just keep deploying depending away from the side that you chose. War Machine's characters and scouting units are exempt, which is nice. So those can kind of go wherever they want. But then you have to be. It's going to probably take some time to get used to this one because you have to really think out how you want to deploy and at the same time react to how your opponent's deploying. And I actually think I captured a little bit of that in this battle report, so that's pretty fun. And then the objective we chose, we chose specifically between the two new objectives, or the two new deployments and two new objectives. So we played the Marching Column and then we played King of the Hill. And the way King of the Hill works is, I should have read all the rules because we ended up playing it wrong in the game, which, of course, didn't read the last page of the document. But the way the King of the Hill works is both players choose a train feature after they pick deployment zones, and then you have to keep enemy units out of there. And it's interesting, too, because it's not enemy scoring units. It's all enemy units except anything with light troops doesn't count. So that was really interesting. So looking at my list, I'll get back on it later too, how we messed up. So looking at my list, I took an Iron Orc Warlord on a Chariot, Buffer Helm for Word Save, Paired Weapons, Screw Weapon, Common Orc Shaman, Scepter Power, Skull Splitter, Gem of Dragonfire, Pyrancy. I'm pretty much working with my post Strength and Numbers list, just doing some tweakings here. The core is mostly staying the same. Those two characters just got like reduced in cost a little bit. Actually, the Common Orc Shaman got reduced quite a bit in points. Instead of the Goblin VSB, now I have an Iron Orc Chief with the Ring of Fire, Dragon Mantle, Parry Weapons, Scope, and Shield. So he has a 1-up. He's got the Ring of Fire. He can have a 2-up or pair, but he's a little versatile. Bunch of Cave Goblins. I added champions to those blocks because I realized they really need them. I could have used them so much at Strength and Numbers. 21 Common Goblins, again, it kind of changes them a little bit. And then just 5 War Riders. I didn't really feel like I needed the 7. And then a big block of Iron Orcs with the Banner of Speed. Unit of Grotlings for Chaff. I missed those guys. I played with them at Buckeye, and I kind of missed them against things with Terra and stuff like that because the Wolf Raiders just flee so quickly. Unit of 5 Wolf Raiders, though, also for Chaff because they have a different chaffing purpose. And then 2 Giants and a Great Green Idol. I really like the monsters. I've been playing around with trying to get as many monsters in the list. I kind of want to try the Giants. I think it'll be interesting. Yeah. And I missed the Great Green Idol. The toughness 8's pretty nice. So, the way we picked, the train features we picked was I chose the Forest in my deployment zone. And then he chose this ruin in the middle of the board, which I thought was interesting. Nobody wants to go in a ruin. And then he started on this side of the board. He dropped a unit of 25 warriors with spears. Played Dwarven holds. Should be in the title. But I don't have the list, but I'm going to piece it together as we do deployment. I decided I didn't want to deploy against him right away, so I started on the other side, and I put the 5 Wolf Riders down because, again, I was like, I don't really know what I want to put down yet, so I'll just plop those right there, see what I can do later on. And then he dropped a Copter next, and then I put a Giant down, because I thought, yeah, the giant's fast. He'll be able to move around that hill and, you know, fight a lot of that stuff over there. And then he put down his deep watch on the hill. And because it's interesting, this one, it's not like counter thrust. You know, you can still deploy as many units as you want. But obviously, the more you deploy, the more obvious your deployment's going to be, and the more easier it's going to be to counter that deployment. So I put down a unit of boar riders because I was like, there's a rune right there. Maybe I'll move them in there very slowly or something like that over the game. And actually, I think the way we played it wrong is we thought that you needed to just have any scoring units near those to capture them, kind of like the 2 pennies secure target. But it's a little bit different than that. So I ended up dropping some more goblins. He dropped, I want to say maybe that's right. He dropped another copter, and then he dropped the rest of his stuff. So he put his handgunners, his guild-crafted handguns, Dwarven marksmen, right in the middle of the board, which is a decent spot for them, because they'll be able to shoot a lot of stuff. And then he dropped the rest of his stuff. So he's got a catapult behind the hill. His lord is on a shield, and he's in the deep watch. And then he's also got a runesmith in the deep watch as well. He's got an anvil of power in kind of behind that copter, behind those marksmen. And then he's got his 2 vengeance seekers all the way to the right. And the only thing left he has is like unit of like 10 miners. So the deployment kind of got him with the vengeance seekers, because I don't think he wanted to put him there, but like the way he deployed, he had to put him there. So and then this is how the rest of mine works out. So after those 20 goblins that went down right in the middle, I dropped a unit of my 30 cave goblins, and then I dropped my general right in the middle. I'm not really too worried of his catapult on my general. It only does D3 wounds. And then dropped another unit of 30 cave goblins. My shaman is in the forest. It's kind of hard to see. He's next to the Great Green Idol, who is also in the forest. And then I dropped my 27 iron orcs with my BSB behind the building and a giant all the way to the right of that picture. For his hatred, he chose the iron orc unit, which makes a lot of sense. And then he also chose my general. Okay, it drives me nuts as an orc and goblin player that Dwarven holds get that extra random hatred. Not random. I mean, it makes sense, but it irks me still.
Turn 1 with the Nathaniel. Look at those dwarves go.
That was a fun little Snapchat I took that afternoon. So, obviously he doesn't really move up. He moves the dwarves a little bit forward on the left. He moves the copter up to shoot at a giant. And yeah, I mean, his dwarves, they're pretty static. He just kind of moves his Vengeance Seekers, spreads them out a little bit. In the magic phase, he gets the rune that does like the 2d6 hits. And I kind of had to let this one go through, unfortunately. I actually think I didn't realize it did the dangerous terrain bit, but I mean, still, I was like, whatever. It only kills 2 orcs, because it's only strength 4. There's also a chance he gets a low number of hits, only does wound, and I saved or something like that. So I was like, yeah, I'll let it go. And then he also gets the hard target and distracting off his anvil. I had no problem letting this go through too, because I have a lot of different targets. The anvil is a very juicy target because it's actually really good in what it does. But again, there's a lot of different targets. I also have a skull splitter, so if I want to shoot at it, I can shoot at the skull splitter. I dropped these grotlings in the runes because I figured I'd be able to use them. I could do it within 12, and then I could kind of get up in his handgunners and make him take penalties for shooting through them if they don't want to shoot them. But they actually shot them, and they did 5 wounds, which is really impressive because it was like skirmishing and hardcover, and I was like, okay, whatever, do 5 wounds, that's fine for dwarves. And the catapult hits and does 1 wound to the Great Green Idol, which again is really impressive because I think he needed like a 3 because he was short range, but then he needs a 4 to wound because he's only strength 8 with the catapult. So Orcs and Goblins turn 1, kind of everything moves forward. Some things march, some things just move forward. Like all the archers kind of just move forward, so they can still shoot. Great Green Idol moves quite a bit forward. The Iron Orcs, they move 5. I'm moving next turn. I'll be able to march through the building. Yeah, I hated that I actually put those guys there. I regretted it so much later on, and you'll see why. In the magic phase, I got a lot of good magic phases this game, but I just could not get spells off. And I also kind of forgot that I was running a Scepter of Power for a little bit, but it would have like kind of helped, but not really. I get Flaming Swords off on those Goblins, but he devours it, so that's the last chance I'm gonna get it, and I didn't bubble it, so I was like, whatever. I didn't take a picture of my spells, but I can go through them real quick. I got Flaming Swords, Enveloping Embers, Scorching Salvo, and then Immolation. So I wasn't even really crazy about my spells this game. In the shooting phase, I do 1 wound to the Anvil of Power with my Skull Splitter. I don't really do much else with the shooting. I mean, it's all kind of like long range. You know, just got so much. It's just 4-ups everywhere, so even if you get a wound through, it's like it's gonna save it. So moving on into Dwarven Hold's turn 2. He's got a couple charges. So he charges the Copter at my Giant, mostly because it's just in the way, because that unit of Warriors right there has a very nice flank charge on my Great Green Idol. I moved him too far forward, and I obviously didn't check to see if I was on the flank of those Dwarves. I think I knew he could do this. I mean, they're 10 inches away. They have the movement. They're 10 inches away. The Copter makes it in, but thankfully, the Dwarves do not make it in. Again, they needed a 10-inch charge. They have the move banner, so he just rolled. I think he rolled double ones, and then they just scoot forward a couple inches, which is very good. I was worried about. I wanted to get him forward because if he gets in the backfield, he can do a lot of nasty stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I think he had more space to move, but I was worried about those. I was worried about this deep watch on the hill. He also charges his 2 Vengeance Seekers at the Growlings, and I'm like, go ahead. Whatever. Like that's fine. It does not really bother me if you kill those. And then his miners do show up turn 2, which is really good for him. And they have throwing weapons, and they are going to use them as well as they can. Yeah. So in the magic phase, I let him. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. He also moved his king into the handgunner unit, which is a good idea because that king can hold up a lot of stuff on his own, and the Deep Watch still have bodyguard from the runesmith. So yeah, one of his Copters moves over to shoot the wolves that are on like my right side of the board. I was like, whatever, go ahead. And then in the Venture Maze, he gets a spell off in this unit. I want to say it's either Hard Target Distracting. I think he puts Hard Target Distracting as Catapult. He gets something else on those unit handgunners. And then I'm saving all my dice for this spell. He gets the 2d6 one off. Yeah, he like throws 4 dice at it, hits 6. Just roll really poorly. He does a few wounds, but the hard thing is now I don't want to march, so. He does a couple wounds over here, but I passed my panic test amazingly. The handgunners shoot at my Orc Shaman. Man, the accurate's so good because he hit a bunch of times, did a decent amount of wounds, and I only made like 1 save. Just 2 wounds to me, so that was rough. Then the Gadable hits and does 1 more rune to the Great Green Idol. I'm getting lucky that he's only rolling 1s, but he's also getting kind of lucky that he's hit and wounded twice in a row. So. And then this was devastating. He threw his throwing weapons at the Boar Riders, and I failed a whole bunch of armor saves. So at this point in the game, I was like, where are my dice, So he charges in here, and I do the smash attack, which is he loses all his attacks, and he takes a wound, so it ends up just being a tie combat, because he is charged, I wound. So, whatever. I wanted to kill that thing with like a bunch of hits or something like that, or maybe a bellow. A bellow would have been sweet. So at the start of my turn, I charge my general at one of the Vengeance Seekers, because he obviously had no problem wiping out the Growlings. And then he just turned his Vengeance Seekers, towards my stuff, but it was a really close charge for my general, so I took it, made it no problem. I think it was like a 12. I actually WAARGhed. Because I needed the extra movement for my Great Green Idol to get past both the Warriors and the Deep Watch. And then I actually really like this positioning because my general can overrun into the Lord's unit. He just kind of has to make it through 1 round. He's got impact hits. It's probably the only way I can deal with that Dwarf Lord. And then in the shooting phase, I release my Mad Gits at the miners, and I do 4 wounds, so I was really happy about that. And then in the shooting phase, kill another 3 miners. That was awesome. It was all the work of the cave goblin unit. The other 20 guys did nothing. Yeah, just got to deal with that threat, you know. My magic got shut down. I didn't do anything. And then, this killed me. It was so bad. It was very disappointed at my lord because it was a 5-inch overrun, and I rolled 3-1. It's my fault. It's not his fault. I rolled 3-1-1, so he does not make it in. You know, it's like a ½ inch too. It's so bad. He does not make it in, and then that leaves a very juicy flank charge on my general. So that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. And then I love this shot. This is such a cool. His other Vengeance Seeker just charges right into my giant. This giant kind of, you know, he's. I wanted this giant to get up because I was hoping, you know, last round of combat, and then my next turn charge the giant in like the flank or something like that. You know, get that rank into combat. Hopefully beat that unit. He also makes, this is like a 10-inch or 9-inch charge over here with these dwarves into this giant, and he makes that charge, which I was like, we'll see how that goes. His BSB has the rune that gives him the strength 10 against T5, so that's annoying. And then the miners, you know, there's only 3 left, and they're like, they just go for it. They just charge into the goblins. I don't do any wounds with my standard shoot. Yeah, I love this shot again. It's such a cool. It's just like that's what a seeker and a giant should be doing. Just locked in the struggle for life and death. It's a beautiful shot. It's probably going to be the thumbnail. In the magic phase, want to say, yeah, he gets distracting and hard target off on this unit, which is like great. At this point, I was kind of letting the combat buster. I was thinking my lord's going to get punked right here. And I'm trying to just stop the damage spells because I want my shaman to live. And I stopped the lightning one that does like the D6 strength 6, but he gets the 2D6 strength 4 one off. And I don't die, thankfully. He doesn't get enough hits and doesn't do any wounds. This thing keeps shooting at my wolves. This time they have the general's leadership and they stick again. But unfortunately, now that's only 2. They're not. I can't really do anything. They can't go on anything. And then combat with the Vengeance Seeker and the Giant. So he does 4 wounds to me, but I get the smash, like the swing, the 2d6 hits. I think I do 3 wounds there, but he makes a save, and then I thunder stomp him and I kill him. So I was happy about that. And then, so yeah, what happens with my general? Let me dish you about this. Okay, so we. You know, I issue a challenge because I'm not going to take all these other strength 4 attacks from these dwarves for no reason. So I issue a challenge with my lord. He accepts with his lord. We're both going to use great weapons. I get 2 hits, which is really good for hitting on 5s. I do 2 wounds with my strength 8. He makes 1 armor save, and he fails his 5-4 save. His general's got like a 1-up, 5-up. He's strength 6 with a great weapon, and then he's got the D3 wounds thing. So he's pretty good at killing stuff because he's also got like 5 attacks. So he goes. I think he hits 4 times between hatred, and then he whiffs on his wounding, and I think he only does 2 wounds. He just kind of rolls a couple 1s and then rerolls, and those are successful because he's only winning on 3-ups. He might have even just done 1 wound actually, and I failed the armor save and I failed the ward save. Because the armor save was only a 5-0, because of course when he charges he's strength 7. And then he does 3 wounds too. And then so I'm like, okay, I'm running away. I was like breaking on a 3 with like flank and the ring and everything. And I think I roll like 10 inches away, and he just falls an 11. You know, not Swiss strike. Not Swiss strike, just rolled an 11. So my general doesn't even get away. He gets crushed, and this sucks. That's just rough. Because, I mean, 5-inch overrun. 5-inch overrun. So that was rough. Yeah. And then now these handgunners are sitting right in front of this giant, which is not where the giant wants to be. So this combat goes just as poorly. The BSB does 1 wound. The Cocker does 1 wound. The guys do 2 wounds. I think I only do 3 wounds between getting a swing and a thunderstomp, which was also really poorly. And then I fill the stubborn 10 and I flee. But he doesn't catch me at least, so that's good. It was a short flee for me. Copter rolled short, and then he wanted to turn around because my Great Korean Idol's on the hill and everything, and it's threatening things. And the BSB could actually do some damage to the Great Korean Idol. So, ONG, turn 3. The combat at the bottom is a fluff. Nothing happens between the miner. I think he just misses and doesn't wound, and I can't do anything either. I just kind of move with my shaman, move with my cave goblins on the left. The other goblins are kind of just staying, not too close to the handgunners. They're going to shoot. Or they turned around now that the miner threat is supposed to have been dissipated. And then the giant just ignores the handgun. He passes his march block test and then just runs around them. He's like, I can't fight that. I saw what happened to the orc on the chariot. I can't fight that. And the Great Green Idol goes into the Deep Watch because he's got nothing better to do. They're blocking him up, so. In the magic phase, or actually in the shooting phase, do some wounds. Actually, this is magic phase. I finally got a spell off. I got Scorching Salvo off. I threw 5 dice at it. I could not get spells off, so I just, out of desperation, threw 5 dice, got it off, didn't kill myself. Did a couple wounds to the rock thrower, the catapult, and the anvil, so that's good. Combat, the Great Green Idol really goes to town. He kills 7 Deep Watch. They fail their steadfast test. I finally get a huge break, and they flee, and he overruns them. He pursues them down, and he gets in the catapult. So that was huge. Oh my gosh, I really needed something like that. Otherwise, this game was just going terribly downhill. The miners, they do 2 wounds this time. They're just sword and board. They do 2 wounds this time, but I still have the 3 ranks, so they lose by 1. They actually flee. We both roll. He rolls 3 inches. I roll 2, so we barely go anywhere, but they get away. Dwarven turn 4. This is actually the last turn because we were trying to play tournament time because I'm playing with a friend who he kind of, I don't want to say he slow plays, but he takes a lot of time during his games. So unfortunately, I got 4 turns. Those dwarves tried to charge, but they failed. And then he doesn't really have too much more movement going on. He just moves his copters a little bit to chaff some things and to block some other things. So the copter on the left, the giant rallied, which was great. Shoots at him, doesn't do any wounds, thankfully, because he's holding on to his full points right now. If he takes another wound, he's down to half points. And then the shaman gets shot at by the, I want to say the catapult. It hits and it doesn't wound, which was very awesome. Or no, the catapult's in combat. He gets hit by something and he survives. And then this copter shoots over here. I think it does 1 wound to this guy. So he's hanging on to his 1 wound. He's got 1.5 points. And then the handgunners open up and they kill the giant, which is okay. I mean, what can you do? They even turned around, so they were unwieldy. They only needed to get that 1 through, and he had like 15 shots left. Which, even unwieldy, there's still a good chance of him getting that 1 through. Actually, I think he only had 1 hit, and he just rolled that 5 up. The Great Green Idol has no problem killing catapult. They failed their fear test, so he can actually hit. And then he just turns around, and then Orcs and Goblins turn 4. The Shaman charges the Engineer. The Great Green Idol charges the Anvil Power. And then that's it. I move the Cave Goblins into the Ruin. Yep. And then I also charged the other giant into the Copter. I risked the stand and shoot, and I didn't die. In this combat, I bellow, which doesn't do anything. He had a leadership success, but I think he failed, but he had his BSB nearby, so he passed the second round. And then with my shaman on the engineer, I go in there and I just kill him with impact hits, which was great, exactly what I wanted to do. And then the Great Green Idol has no problem killing the anvil. You know, it's only had 3 wounds left, and he just between his hits and his thunderstomp, he smokes that bad boy. And yeah, that's pretty much how the game ends. I released my fanatics and did a bunch of shooting on the marksman, or my madgets. Sorry, not fanatics. What the heck are those? Well, I couldn't do enough wounds to do a panic. I think I did a panic, but he passed easily a 10, you know. And yeah, that's how the game ends. So at this point, I had my Orcs just didn't really do anything. They got caught, and then they just kind of moved around, and then they just moved into the forest, which was okay. I wish I knew what I wanted to do with them earlier. I just wish they shouldn't have been as wide as they were. I shouldn't have put them by the building. That's what I should have done. Let's be honest. That was really stupid. I was obviously counting on not getting stalled up so I could move forward, march through the building. But that is just a terrible idea. They could have been so many other places doing a lot scarier things, really threatening other parts of the board. But I don't know, that's also kind of just how it happened with deployment. Is I didn't want to put them right in the middle. I didn't have space because I didn't want to put them right in the middle because I didn't want to block up all my bows. I don't know. Yeah. That was it kind of happened with deployment, but I also didn't think the building would be as much of a problem. But buildings are so hard to move past. So yeah. So this game ends up being, I'm calling it just 11-9 Orc and Goblin victory. I snuck in so many victory points in that last turn. I don't want to say I shouldn't have won this game or shouldn't have lost this game. It just was very swingy, like I was having a lot of bad rolls, he was only having a lot of good rolls, and then the Great Idol turned up. If I had the objective, it'd be 14-6, but again, we just played it wrong. I thought it was just like whoever has the most scoring units near them, in them, like 2 pennies. It's very different than that. It's whoever doesn't have any enemy units in the terrain feature they chose. It's called like Sacred Ground. It's like the sacred piece of terrain that your force is in love with, and that you can't let enemy units near it. And it's also, again, it's interesting. The way I read it is it doesn't have to be scoring units. It can be any unit. It could be like a monster. If a monster was in it, it would count as an enemy unit. Technically, I did get the terrain feature. But I think if we knew what it was, or if we knew the specifics of it, because I kind of was like, oh, I think it's just like, I was like, I think it's just 2 pennies. I wasn't smart enough to scroll down to the next page and read how the objective plays out. Then we probably would have both. I would still probably would have chose that forest because that was a great terrain feature. I might even chose the hill. I probably would have actually. Well, no, because that was before he started deploying. So yeah, I probably would have kept that. I probably would have kept that forest. I was thinking I was going to just put archers in it, and the Iron Axe ended up getting near it. Yeah, but he probably would have been more aggressive though with those warriors on the other side. Because if they had a couple more turns, if they pursued the giant, they could have maybe got further around the building, and then they could have threatened that forest, and the Iron Axe would have actually had something to fight. So, but I think the Iron Axe still could have helped them out for the rest of the game. But either way, really, really fun objectives. Really cool deployment. That was like so different. Very different than what we have, I feel like. So I applaud the 9-page content creators, whoever that was, rules team or executive board or whatever. You guys got it going. I love it. I can't wait to play more. I'm going to keep testing this list out. I'm debating about going to Michigan GT. Trying to figure out if I'll have time available. But I'm probably going to play a couple more games this weekend, so look for some more content probably Sunday or maybe even Monday next week. So yeah, thank you for watching. This has been Evershade Gaming, and I'll hit you up with another battle report very soon. See ya.
Just up.